Hello everyone and welcome to the 14th video in our Create a Survival Game series done by Brackeys. I am the CEO of Brackeys, and today we are going to be taking a look at another method for making audio and underlying music for your game. So we're going to apply some smooth fading between audio sources. So let's go ahead and open up Unity. This is generally a better method than what I showed you in the last tutorial, though it does have its faults, and I am going to talk about them very soon. So first off, let's talk about what we made last time. We had these two audio sounds with a 2D audio attached to them and a script that handled all of the switching on and off. So basically, once the player entered these triggers, these trigger colliders, the music would start playing, and when he left them, it would stop. This didn't give the effect of smooth fading, and it was not really nice. So let's go ahead and for now just disable these by selecting them in the hierarchy and hitting this checkbox. So now we can see they are grayed out, they are disabled. Great. The reason why I showed you these in the first place was so that you can get an understanding of how audio zones works inside of Unity, and also it's really great to know how to make trigger functionality. It's good for making all different kinds of surprising events, or just making sure that your game stays alive. Okay, cool. So let's go ahead and clean up from our last tutorial, drag the audio zone script under the scripts folder, and we are ready to go. Now hit the game object, create empty, or you can just press Ctrl-Shift-N to make an empty game object. You can go ahead and right click and rename this to audio zone optimized. I'm just gonna write opt, or source, or whatever you want. I'm gonna write opt, and then 01. So very similar to what we did before. I'm gonna zero up the transform and place it basically in the center of our village. Alright, so now I'm gonna hit the add component on the right hand side and go under audio and then hit the audio source. This is gonna again add the audio source component built into Unity into our game. Now we want something to start playing, and this is very similar to the tutorial we did last time. Now we are going to start to see some changes. So if I double click our audio folder, I have changed something with these audio files. If I select the friendly music for example, you can see what I've changed. The 3D sound is now enabled. This is because I want these to act as a three-dimensional sound actually placed in somewhere in the scene, so that Unity can take care of the roll-off or the linear fading for us, so we don't need to do this through scripting. And this is really great for stuff like background music, or at least if you want to change it based on the player position, then it's really great for background music. It's great for environmental things, stuff like wind blowing, or water splashing from the sea. You get the idea. Alright, so you can go ahead and check that 3D sound and hit the apply. Keep in mind that if your file is way too big for games like my files is, or are, then it could take quite a while for it to convert. But be patient, it should work. So now let's go in under our audio zone optimized and drag in the, for example, friendly music. Drag it in. I guess I'll just select it. Somehow my dragging isn't working. Oh, There we go. Now it's fixed. So we have the friendly music, and it says this is a 3D sound, exactly how we want it. We want the play on awake to be set to true. And we could go ahead and play around with some of the 3D sound settings. So right when you add it, it should look like this. If we go ahead and expand the 3D sound settings, you can see a whole lot of system or audio settings come up. There are a lot of things that we can tweak here. So if we go ahead and just hit play right now, the piece starts playing. And once we get closer to the source, it gets a lot louder. And if we rotate around, you can hear it coming from different places in the room. This might not be very clear to you, but if you are sitting listening to this with a headset or multiple speakers, you will be able to notice this. And for the most part with music, you don't quite want it to move between speakers. So we are going to fix some of these problems. Now, first of all, we want the piece to stay equally loud throughout our town. We don't want it to decrease in its audio level or pitch depending on where we are in the town. So therefore we are going to change the minimum distance. So let's take the minimum distance and drag it up. And you can also see this happening inside of scene view. You can also select one of these dots and drag it inside the scene view. This gives a very nice visual representation of the minimum distance before the roll-off begins. And that's what this is all about. This is about creating the roll-off or the fading in the audio, whether it's linear or logarithmic. And logarithmic simply means that it has a curve in its listener. Whereas if we change it to linear, you can see that it changes the volume in a straight line. Alright, so you can have whatever you want here. I'm gonna go ahead and change it to linear just to make this a little easier to explain and show off. Okay, so now that we have this set, we could go ahead and change the max distance. So if we bump down the max distance quite a bit, we should in a moment start to see the blue sphere, and there it is. So what this means with the current settings that we have is that when inside of this smaller sphere, the music will be equally loud no matter where we are. When we get right outside it, it will start decreasing until we hit this outer sphere, then it will be completely gone. So if we go ahead and bump up the max distance quite a bit, we can make the fading a lot slower. But if we leave it here, I can just illustrate. So let me go ahead and hit play. The music is very loud and it stays equally loud no matter where we are in the inner circle. Now I start leaving the inner circle and you can hear it fading until it's completely disappeared. One thing though, and this is the problem with doing it through the 3D audio handling in Unity. This is also why I showed you the audio zone done through scripting. Because yes, this does indeed have a problem. And it can be quite difficult to hear when, especially because I'm recording this with just one microphone. But whenever we are inside of our town and we rotate, you can hear that we get this feeling of the audio flying by really fast. And also the audio is panning from the left to right speaker. So this is not too great for doing music. It can be wonderful for stuff like splashing of the sea, but especially with music, you want to keep it equally loud until you want it to fade away. So let's go ahead and change the Doppler level. And the Doppler level is, well, it adjusts the effectiveness of the Doppler effect. And if you don't know the Doppler effect, it's basically whenever we move or rotate quickly, the sound gets pitched up and down. So the sound gets adjusted, and it can sound really weird when we are moving quickly or rotating quickly. That's basically the Doppler effect. So this will just change how much the Doppler effect is going to influence our sound. And we want that to stay at 0 for the music. But we can still hear that it's not quite gone. It does still pan from one speaker to the other. And then you might say, well, there's a pan level adjustment. Why don't we just change that to 0? Let's see what happens. So I hit play. Try to run out of the circle. It should fade away. It doesn't. The pan level doesn't just adjust the panning. It also adjusts how well Unity will handle 3D sounds in general. So this is how much this audio source is going to be affected by the 3D sound engine. And that means logarithmic fall off or linear roll off as well. So that's quite a bummer. Though I have come up with a technique to kind of blur this a little bit. So blur the line and not make it quite as bad as it would be anyways. Because the pan level can, just as the linear roll off in this volume, it can be animated. So let's go ahead and do this. So here we have the green line. This is the pan level, and I can go ahead and drag this down a little bit. The x-axis here is the distance from the center of this audio source. So you can see 0, 5, 10, this is 0 units, 5 units, 10 units, and so on until we reach the end or the max distance, which is currently set to 32. So that is how far away we are. And the y-axis is the influence of stuff like volume, pan level, and spread. And spread I won't be explaining. It's not very necessary for this kind of audio configuration. So let's go ahead and adjust the pan level depending on where we are and how far away we are from the source. So if we go ahead and double click, this will create a new point. And you can adjust the curve of this by using this point right here. But we are really just going to be messing around with the position of the point itself. So if we go ahead and drag this up and place it right about maybe a little after the fading begins, the downwards fading. This will mean that when the audio starts fading out, we want to be able to hear this. So therefore, we want the pan level, we want the effectiveness of the 3D audio engine to be full. But until then, we really don't care about the 3D engine. So we are going to take the other point here and drag it all the way down. And this way, we achieve something like this. So when I'm inside the city, I can rotate and jump and run all I want. It won't change the audio at all. But when we start getting out to the fading, it will actually fade away. Now, this still doesn't change that when you're in the fading zone, you can hear the audio being weird. You can hear the actual panning. But I think it's a pretty good solution. It's definitely better than the very harsh switching you will most of the time get with scripting audio. Else you have to get into the distance from the game objects and some volume changing. I'm sure you can come up with an algorithm, but for now this will do. So let's go ahead and actually try to implement something awesome. So let's drag out the max distance to make the fading a lot smoother and slower. And let's hear how this sounds. So right now we're inside the city, and I forgot to do one thing. So hit stop. I forgot to adjust the pan level also. So we have to drag this back whenever we drag the drag the fall off back. So adjust this also. And whoops, I made a mistake there. So quickly create these keyframes one more time. And let's have a listen. Oh, needs to be a little lower. Try again. Indeed, no changes inside of the city. And then the music will slowly and beautifully start fading away. And one thing I actually like about this panning is that you can feel the music coming from the town. So if we imagine that our player is coming from over here, from another town, or has been in a fight, and we then close up on the village, we can start hearing slowly the music playing, and it let us know that we are back home. Now I could change this to logarithmic roll-off to get quite a nicer effect and create some more keyframes on this, adjust them to get a nicer looking curve. But this is just some tweaking, and I'm pretty sure you can do this on your own. So that's the gist of it. We could go ahead and duplicate this audio zone and call it audio zone optimized 2. Check off the play on awake. No, actually leave that on. My bad. And you might also want to set these both to loop. And then we could just drag this over to another part of the map. Let's say over there. So if we follow the road, we should hear the first piece fading out. And as soon as we get down here, we should start hearing the second piece fading in. And this way you can create different feelings to different parts of your environment. There we go. I forgot to change which piece this audio zone will be playing, so we can just drag the enemy territory in here instead. And this should be working. So that's basically it for the audio zone creation. One thing though, if you want the enemy to send out scary sounds, or if you want battle-y music like the frightening kind of music, or stuff like that to play whenever we are near the enemy, you can simply take the audio zone with the frightening music and drag it onto the enemy and position it on him, and therefore it's parented on him. So whenever we get near him, we can hear this piece of music playing. So that's a cool tip for engaging and also letting the player know that he's near something bad. So that's it for audio. Thank you for watching. And one more thing before we wrap this up. I have asked a question on Facebook for what you would like to see in future tutorials. I'm currently working on a mastering collision tutorial. It's gonna be really, really cool. And I also have a lot of different stuff on the list. You can see here I have written everything down, every request I have gotten. But I would like to get some more feedback. So if there's something you want to see or something you want to vote up, go ahead and type in facebook.com/Brackeys and you can go ahead and answer the question. Let me know what you guys want. So thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video.